Buying back your time is the first real step toward becoming the kind of person who doesn't chase money. Money chases them. Most people live their entire lives trapped in the illusion that doing everything themselves somehow makes them disciplined, noble, or hardworking. But the reality is far more brutal. Doing everything yourself is the fastest way to stay average. Time is the only asset you can never refill, never reclaim, and never multiply. So the way you treat your time determines the person you become. When I say buy back your time, I'm not talking about outsourcing for the sake of laziness. I'm talking about understanding that your time is the core engine that drives your life forward. Every hour you spend on a low-level task is an hour you've taken away from creating something meaningful, building a business, improving your skills, or experiencing life. The question isn't what can I do? The real question is what should I be doing? And most people never ask themselves that. Imagine two people. One spends his day editing videos, responding to emails, running errands, organizing files, fixing small problems that anyone could solve. He prides himself on being busy. He confuses motion with progress. Then imagine another person, the one who buys back his time. He hires someone to edit the videos, hires someone to manage operations, hires someone to handle the repetitive tasks that don't move the needle. He frees up 5, 10, even 20 hours a week. Now what does he do with that time? He studies, he builds, he strategizes, he focuses on the things that actually create momentum. Within a year, both men have worked hard, but only one of them has built something significant. Why? Because one person was stuck in the business, while the other was working on the business. Buying back your time isn't an expense, it's an investment. Every minute you reclaim becomes an asset that compounds. If you free up 1 hour a day, that's 365 hours a year. That's 9 full work weeks. 9 weeks you could use to develop a new skill, launch a product, read, travel, think, or plan. People underestimate the power of focused time. 1 hour of clear, uninterrupted thinking is more valuable than 10 hours of chaotic effort. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. Your time is already being bought, just not by you. It's being bought by social media, by distractions, by people who ask for favors, by jobs that demand your attention long after you've clocked out. If you don't consciously reclaim your time, someone else will gladly take it from you. Freedom isn't something you stumble into. Freedom is built by aggressively protecting your time from anything that doesn't elevate your life. When you buy back your time, the quality of your decisions improves. You stop rushing, you stop reacting, you start thinking clearly. You start choosing intentionally. Your life becomes proactive, not reactive. You stop living in survival mode and start operating from strategy. And maybe the most important part, buying back your time changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a worker, and you start seeing yourself as a creator. You stop seeing yourself as someone who needs to be busy, and instead as someone whose value lies in their ability to think, lead, and execute. You start walking differently. You start talking differently. Your standards shift. You stop allowing chaos into your space. Your time becomes something sacred. Because the truth is simple. A millionaire isn't someone who has more money. A millionaire is someone who has more control. And control starts with time. The moment you decide to buy back your time is the moment you begin building a life designed by intention, not by accident. Investing in skills instead of stuff is the difference between someone who looks wealthy and someone who becomes wealthy. Most people are addicted to buying things that give them a quick dopamine hit. New shoes, gadgets, clothes, watches, whatever makes them feel like they are moving up in life. But the truth is, none of that moves you forward. None of it strengthens you. None of it builds a foundation you can stand on when life gets hard. Skills do. Skills are the real currency in a world where everything else fades or becomes outdated. When you invest in skills, you're building something internal, something nobody can take away from you. A skill set is like armor. You may lose money, you may lose a job, you may lose a business, but if you have skills, you can rebuild everything again from scratch. That's why people who focus on developing skills are unshakable. They know their value isn't in what they own, it's in what they can do. The reason skills matter more than stuff is simple. Stuff depreciates. Skills appreciate. A pair of designer shoes loses half its value the moment you step outside. A new laptop becomes outdated in a year. But a skill, whether it's sales, communication, leadership, marketing, copywriting, coding, becomes more valuable the more you use it. And the world pays extremely well for people who are exceptionally good at something. The question isn't what can I buy? The real question is, what can I learn that will change my life? And the moment you start asking that question, your entire trajectory shifts. Instead of chasing trends, you start chasing mastery. Instead of collecting objects, you start collecting abilities. And those abilities open doors you didn't even know existed. Most people underestimate how fast life changes when you develop just one high-income skill. Learning how to sell can double your income. Learning how to market can turn a small idea into a business. Learning how to speak well can turn you into a leader. Learning how to think clearly can save you years of confusion and wasted effort. Skills multiply your opportunities, stuff multiplies your distractions, and here's the funny part. People claim they don't have money to invest in skills, yet they have money for takeout, clothes, gadgets, entertainment, and things that add nothing to their future. It's never a money problem, it's a priority problem. The people who grow the fastest are the ones who treat learning like survival. They buy books before shoes, they buy courses before accessories, they buy mentorship before vacations. They understand that every dollar invested in their mind returns tenfold in the long run. Investing in skills also changes your identity. It forces you to become a better version of yourself, more disciplined, more focused, more capable. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're too busy outgrowing your old self. You stop relying on luck because your skills give you certainty. You stop chasing validation because competence becomes your confidence. Stuff can make you feel good for a day. Skills can change your life forever. And when you start choosing the things that strengthen your future instead of the things that decorate your present, that's when you truly begin to separate yourself from the crowd. Spending on what gives you freedom is one of the most misunderstood principles of wealth. People think freedom is something you achieve once you make it, once you hit a certain income, once you have the cars, the house, the lifestyle. But true freedom isn't a destination. It's a choice you make with every dollar you spend. Every purchase is either buying you closer to freedom or chaining you further away from it. And most people don't even realize they're spending money on their own imprisonment. Freedom isn't about luxury. Freedom is about control. Control over your time, your energy, your decisions, your environment. Every wealthy person who stays wealthy understands this. The world glorifies people who spend money to look rich, but the people who actually become rich spend money to buy back their autonomy. They invest in things that reduce their dependency on others, reduce their stress, and expand their options. When you spend money on freedom, you're choosing things that give you leverage. Leverage isn't just financial, it's mental, emotional, and practical. It might look like investing in healthier food because you want your body to operate at its peak. It might be spending on a gym membership, not because it's trendy, but because it protects your most valuable asset, your energy. It might be paying extra for a better environment, a quieter space, or a tool that saves you hours every week. The average person sees these as costs. A person who values freedom sees them as investments. Freedom also comes from eliminating liabilities, not just financial ones, but emotional ones. Paying off debt gives you freedom because it removes the weight of owing someone else your future earnings. Spending money on organization systems, on security, on clarity, on professionals who solve problems for you. These things buy you mental space. They remove chaos from your life. Chaos is the enemy of freedom. Structure is its foundation. Another form of spending that creates freedom is investing in assets that work for you. This doesn't just mean stocks or real estate. It can be small assets, software that automates your work, tools that multiply your output, education that increases your earning power. Anything that earns or saves you time is an asset. Anything that drains your time is a liability. The wealthy spend aggressively on assets. The poor spend aggressively on liabilities. But here's the deeper truth. Freedom is also about having the ability to say no. To say no to toxic people, no to environments that drain you, no to jobs that demand your life in exchange for a paycheck. Every dollar you save or invest is a vote for your future freedom. Every unnecessary purchase is a vote for staying exactly where you are. And perhaps the most powerful part is this. When you start spending on things that give you freedom, your values change. You stop caring about impressing people. You start caring about protecting your peace. You stop buying things to escape your life. You start building a life you don't need to escape from. You stop chasing comfort and you start chasing clarity. Freedom isn't the result of having money. Freedom is the reason you use money wisely, because at the end of the day, wealth isn't measured by what you own. It's measured by how much of your life you actually control.